Bridges, 5.3, multiplying polynomials. So last section we learned about adding and subtracting polynomials. The next natural thing to do would be to learn how to multiply them. And so the most basic form of multiplication would be when you have what's called a monomial, which would be something that has a single term. In other words, something like, something like this guy right here, or this guy right here, is what's called a monomial. And basically, that's just a single term that you're trying to multiply by. And so, anyway, what happens when you want to multiply by a monomial is you need to distribute. And so what we're going to do is we're going to essentially take that monomial and distribute it and multiply into the parentheses. And so here you'd have 2x times 3x. Well, 2 times 3 is 6, and x times x is x squared. And then, of course, 3x times 7 is 21x, but there's a minus there, and so you end up with minus 21x. Now, this next piece, notice that the monomial is at the front, but still the same principles apply. Take the monomial, multiply, and distribute to the whole set of parentheses there. 4x squared times 3x is 12x cubed, because remember, x squared times x, here's x squared, here's x, you multiply them together, you get x cubed. And then let's see, minus 4 times 2 is 8, and then x squared times x cubed would be x to the 5th, and then plus 1 times 4x squared would just be 4x squared. And so that would be your answer for this one. Hopefully that seems pretty straightforward, because we're going to need that skill here in a minute when we make it a bit more complicated. So, if we want to multiply binomials, so each one of these things here, that there, and then both of these, whoa. Don't know how that happened, but anyway, and then both of these are binomials because they have 2 terms. Now, so to do this, we use the technique of FOIL, which is an acronym, okay? And it stands for first, outer, inner, and last. And basically what it involves is taking the first piece in this and distributing it through, and then taking the last piece and distributing it through the other set of parentheses. And so, walking you through this first example, if I want to do this, so the F for FOIL stands for first. So there's your F. X times x is x squared. Then you've got your outer. X times negative 3 would be negative 3x. Then you've got your inner. So this would be I. So 3 times x would be plus 3x. And then your last, so it's 3 times negative 3 would be negative 9. I'm out of space, so I'm going to come down here. And then all you have to do is combine your like terms. So you've got your x squared, negative 3x, whoops, negative 3x and positive 3x makes 0. So that's going to cancel out, and then you've just got minus 9. Now there are other methods of doing this, okay? One would involve kind of sort of like a Punnett square from biology. Let me show you that on the next problem. I could certainly FOIL this out, which would mean I could take this and multiply it to both of those, and this to multiply it to both of those. Some teachers teach it like a team shaking hands, in that this guy right here, whoa, that guy right there and this guy right here are on the same team, but this guy has to shake the hands of both of the other teammates after the game, and this guy has to shake the hands of both of the other team at the end of the game, but they don't shake hands with each other because they're already on the same team. So either you view it as shaking hands and you distribute like so, or you can do it like this. So you make this little 2 by 2 square. This is 3x plus 4. This is 2x plus 1. And basically what happens is wherever these intersect, you multiply. So like here, I would take the 2x and the 3x and multiply them together, and I would get 6x squared. Then I would take the 2x and 4 and multiply those together and get 8x. And then I could take the 3x and the 1 and multiply those together, and that would give me 3x. And then I could take the 1 and the 4 and multiply them together, and that would give me 4. Basically, that's the exact same thing that you're doing right here, except you've got a more visual representation of doing it this way to make sure that you've got everything there. The calculations are the exact same. The answer will be the exact same. But now what we need to do is we need to combine our like terms. So I've got 6x squared. Nothing else goes with that, so this is 6x squared. Then I've got this 3x and this 8x, which when I add those together, since they're both positive, that'll give me 11x. And then I've got this 4 here. So when I add that, nothing goes with that, so this would be plus 4, and that would be your answer for this part. All right. So the principle here works the exact same, even though there are more terms in this first piece. Okay? So, again, you're either going to have that guy distributing, and then this guy distributing, and then this guy distributing, or you can write it out in a grid. Doesn't matter to me which one you do. I can show you both. So let's say I want to take this guy and distribute it like this. So 4x squared times 2x is 8x cubed. Then 4x squared times negative 5 is negative 20x squared. Then I come to this next guy, I distribute that. He goes and shakes the hands of the other team. Negative 3x times 2x is minus 6x squared. Negative 3x times negative 5 is plus 15x. And actually, in reality, it's probably better if you line it up this way, because then you can have your like terms lined up and it's easier for you to combine them. And then what you can do is you can take this 1 and distribute it. And so you've got negative 1 times 2x is minus 2x. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. And then all you have to do is combine your like terms. So this is equal to 8x cubed minus 26x squared plus 13x plus 5. And that would be your answer right there. Of course, if you did this with the little Punnett square, it's no longer a square, it's going to be a rectangle, but the same principles are going to apply. Let me move this out of the way. So let's say we did it this way. So 4x squared minus 3x minus 1. And by the way, it doesn't matter which one you put on top, which one you put going down the side, as long as the dimensions match. Like this has 2 terms, so I gotta have 2 boxes. I mean, you can't see me waving at that, so this has 2 terms right here, so it needs 2 boxes. This part right here has 3 terms, so it's got to have 3 boxes going across. And so, once again, where these cross, I'm going to multiply. So 2x times 4x squared is 8x cubed. And that, of course, matches with this 8x cubed right here. Then, I, of course, could have, there's negative 6x squared, and then if I multiply these two together, I get minus 2x, and then if I multiply these, I get minus 20x squared, plus 15x, and then plus 5, and you don't need the plus there, you just understand that if it's positive, you're going to add, if it's negative, you're going to subtract, and then you combine your like terms. 8x cubed is over there, I already have that. 20x squared, negative 6x squared, oops, that's negative. But anyway, that makes your negative 26x squared. 15x minus 2x is 13x. Then you got your 5, and then you have your answer. Most of you probably already noticed that there's an assignment right here. Take a moment to write it down. And that'll conclude this video. Yay.